Hello fellow brawlers, I'm KairosTime, and it is time to talk about Colt's, Rico's, and Rosa's star powers. And that's right guys, I'm home from vacation. I'm finally back in my office. Now their star powers are going to be released sometime this week, and so I wanted to give you guys some footage of each of them in action while I also compare the new star powers to the original star powers for each of these brawlers. Additionally guys, I'm going to be ranking each star power so you know which ones you should actually save up your gold for, as well as talk about like which types of situations would call for one star power versus the other and how useful they are in general. I'll be doing something similar to this for all of the new star powers as they are released, so make sure you subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss it. Let's go ahead and start off by talking about Colt's new star power, Magnum Special. For this, Colt's main attack range and bullet speed are actually increased by 11%. Now this star power bumps Colt's attack range up from 9 tiles to 9 2/3 tiles, and this makes his range as long as Leon's attack range, but it's like in a straight line, so it's more likely to actually like deal a lot of damage. It also brings his effective range just 1/3 tile shorter than Piper's, and additionally, the fact that both his range and projectile speed were buffed by 11% means that Colt with Magnum Special will hit a target at his increased max range at the same exact moment that a Colt without Magnum Special would hit a target at his normal max range. Now for Colt's first star power, Slick Boots, his movement speed is increased by 8%. Now this actually allows him to complete the race test 4 entire seconds faster. It also moves him from tying with several other brawlers for the lowest speed to actually having the 5th fastest regular walking speed in the game. So the question is, which star power is better for Colt? For a lot of the brawlers, I think that one star power is the obvious choice over the other when it comes to like which one you should get first and which one you're going to be using the majority of the time. But for Colt, I actually think it's a little bit more complicated than that. I think both star powers offer a similar amount of power, but there are actually a lot of factors that need to be considered when choosing which one to use. So Magnum Special is an offensive ability that will allow Colt to hit enemy players from a longer range. This will make Magnum Special the star power option for maps and modes with fewer walls where long range really counts. That's why I think that this is going to be the best star power for Colt when you're playing him in Bounty, maybe even some heist maps that, you know, allow for a little bit extra range for him to be able to hit the safe from a safe distance. And on the other side, we have Slick Boots that allow Colt to travel longer distances, strafe his attacks so that they actually cover a larger area, and can also help him chase down or even run away from an enemy. And that is why Slick Boots, I think, is Colt's best star power for Showdown and Siege, which have larger size maps, and typically they also have enough walls that the extra range from Magnum Special wouldn't actually benefit Colt very often. I could see either star power working for either like Gem Grab or Brawl Ball, depending on which map is currently active and how many walls are on it. Overall, I would actually rank both of Colt's star powers as A tier, so I wouldn't actually focus on making either one of them your first star power, but certainly not the worst star powers to choose from. If I did have to pick one that I would like specifically get for Colt first, I would probably go with Magnum Special, because I found that extra range oftentimes has been more impactful than like additional movement speed. Okay guys, up next let's talk about Rico's star powers. Rico's new secondary star power is Robo Retreat. Now when Rico falls below 40% health, he actually runs 34% faster. That's actually 8% faster than BB with her star power, and 17% faster than Crow's regular movement speed. This is by far not a weak movement speed buff. This helps Rico finish the race test much faster than normal. As you can see, it's really impressive. Now the biggest issue with his star power is that Rico needs to fall below 1,344 HP to not die in order for the star power to be effective. 1,300 HP, that's not very much. That is a low amount of HP that you do not want to fall below. And because Rico can easily be one-shot by several brawlers once he's at that point, you really don't want to keep shooting your shots in order to utilize his star power at that time. Most of the time, you'll want to fall back to a safe distance, use that star power to run away, heal up to max HP, and then re-engage in battle. However, if you do find yourself in the type of situation, then that extra speed boost will actually allow Rico to dodge shots much easier, or even run away from those close range brawlers that like barely got within range with Rico when they actually brought him down below 40%. So this will add quite a bit of survivability to Rico in the right situation, but it will be inactive most of the time for a skilled player that knows how to keep their distance. Now, Rico's original star power was super bouncy. This is where Rico's bullets from his attack and super deal 100 additional damage after bouncing off of a wall. This is a 22% damage buff, not only just for his attack, but also for his super, which is a massive change. But it does require you to consistently hit targets after bouncing your shots off of walls, which is not an easy thing to pull off. I frequently see people trying to bounce shots off of walls for that extra damage and then missing half of their bullets, whereas like if they had just aimed directly at the enemy, they would have dealt more damage overall. This star power is a very high skill, high reward type of star power. Using this star power is going to come down to how you play Rico, along with your skill level with Rico. Unlike the choice being like meta dependent, like with Colt's star power, I think that Rico's star power choice is more like skill dependent. Okay, Robo Retreat doesn't seem like a star power that you want to try to activate. Typically, a skilled Rico will be able to keep their distance away from enemy brawlers so that they can't deal damage to Rico, so that he won't need that extra movement speed with that star power. On the flip side, the 22% power buff to Rico's super bouncy and his star power is very powerful and makes Rico an incredible brawler if you're good at utilizing those bounce shots. Ultimately, I think that 95% of players would benefit from using Robo Retreat most of the time, and I would advise buying it first. It'll allow Rico to survive a lot more encounters, as well as allow him to control more of the field by strafing while firing. And overall, I would say Robo Retreat is an A tier star power, and Super Bouncy is S tier to a pro player, or B tier to anyone else. Lastly for this week, guys, we have Rosa. Rosa's new star power is Thorny Gloves, where Rosa's punches gain an additional 200 damage during her super. This translates to an additional 600 damage for a single attack, and during that time frame with her super, she's not able to land out like a fourth regular attack. So like we're talking about 3 quick attacks, 600 damage per attack. That translates to an additional 1800 damage, and that's insane, because not only is she like shielded by 70% during this time, she'll also be able to deal 7,596 damage if all punches hit during this time. This means that the only brawlers that would be able to survive a full-on burst attack from Rosa with this star power are El Primo and Frank. Now, Rosa's original star power is Plant Life, which allows her to heal 200 health per second while inside a bush. This is like a more defensive star power that allows Rosa to heal up relatively quickly between battles. Now, when battles do take place in a bush, this gives her a massive advantage. But because Rosa is a short-range brawler, if the enemy finds themselves within range of a bush that she's in, a smart player will likely run away from the bush. And this means that Rosa's Plant Life star power isn't actually frequently used in the most ideal situation for Rosa. So the choice for which star power you should play with Rosa is very obvious if you ask me, okay? I think that the raw offensive power from Thorny Gloves far outweighs the defensive boost of Plant Life that really is kind of dependent on there being bush and a lot of bush and having fights in a bush. Typically, Rosa will face a lot of combat when she has her super charged up, because it allows her then to get up close to multiple enemy brawlers, stay alive for a long time, and then try to recharge her super. This means that the additional damage will be very useful when she needs it most, when she has her Thorny Gloves star power. And on the flip side, Plant Life will give Rosa good healing while in a bush, but most of the time she won't actually be in the bush to utilize it when she needs it the most. I would give Thorny Gloves an S tier rating overall and Plant Life an A, or possibly even like a B tier rating overall. This would make Thorny Gloves a very obvious first choice when you're trying to decide which one to get for her first. However, I will say that on some maps with lots of bushes, or like battles that actually happen inside the bush, you would definitely be better off using Plant Life instead, okay? So like maps like Cavern Churn, Feast or Famine, Snake Prairie, all of those would be times when Plant Life would actually be a lot more beneficial to use, because she would actually use it more frequently. In that 200 health per second, that's nothing to shake a stick at, or a glove, a pointy glove at, or spiky glove. I don't know. That was a ramble. Okay, guys, so at least for the star powers this week, there are definitely situations where you would want all 6 of them. I don't think that any one of them are completely useless, but there are certainly some clear options for which one you would want most of the time. In my opinion, Colt's Magnum Special will actually offer more value overall than Slick Boots. Rico's Robo Retreat will be more beneficial for most players, where Super Bouncy is more suited for like top tier level players, and Rosa's Thorny Gloves is a much better option overall when compared to Plant Life. Out of these 6 star powers, I think that Rosa's Thorny Gloves is the strongest and is most likely to get nerfed. So if you have to choose between all 6 of these, I would definitely go with that one. And also, my guess is that since Supercell is probably like doing their summer vacation, it'll be a little bit before they actually do balance changes, so you might actually be able to utilize it a lot longer than not before. So I don't know. Anyways, I'm really curious to know which of these star powers you guys think are going to be the best, so make sure you drop a comment in the section below. As a reminder, make sure you subscribe so you do not miss future videos like this for every week that we get new star powers. And for now, guys, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.